Okay, I want to welcome everyone to Demystifying AI, empowering small business sales and marketing. And we have with us today from Zenagos, Dr. Karen Balschweiler and Stacy Combs. We're very pleased to have them with us for this new topic for us. They have given presentations for us before, and they do have another sales webinar coming in the future. So I encourage you to check it out because it's fantastic. Okay, as we get going today, I just want to talk a little bit about SCORE. There's a couple things that SCORE does. One is our training webinars and workshops. The other is on our website, we have tons of templates and resources that you can look at or download. So I certainly encourage you to do that. And the most important thing that SCORE does is our mentoring. And our mentoring is free and is confidential. Our mentors come to us from a variety of backgrounds and have a lot of different knowledge and different business topics to share with small business owners. We work with folks that are in the stage of, is small business right for me? We're working with those that are in that planning stage, putting together all the information to help them get going. And we're working with those that are already in business. People come to us for every topic that you can imagine, and we have a mentor to help with that. A first session is going to be learning about what your goals or challenges are and coming up with a plan to help you achieve that goal or overcome your challenges. It's very easy to get a SCORE mentor. You can go to score.org. You can use the little QR code on the screen and just put in your zip code and it'll match you to the correct chapter. And you can submit what you're looking for and they will help match you to the right mentor. So and we are today going to use the QA on the Zoom bar. Q&A. So if you have a question you would like asked to the presenter, please put it in Q&A. We do expect a decent crowd, and it does, it allows it, it's just, the questions don't get lost as easily. It's easier to keep track of them. Everything else can go into chat for certain, but if you could use that Q&A tab to submit your questions, they will do their best to get to as many as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my screen down and introduce our, I'm not sure who's to begin today, but I'll let you guys go ahead and take over.
I'll go ahead and take care of it. Let me just get my presentation up here. All right, Zoom. Great. Welcome, everybody. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here to talk about generative AI. Our focus today is going to be on ways to use generative AI for small business sales and marketing. I'm Karen Balschweiler. My colleagues call me K14. I'm one of the 4 founders of Zenagos. We call ourselves the Zenagos experts, and all 4 of us are here today. The 4 of us have provided strategy and technical consulting services to companies like Walmart, Nestle, Coach, Fidelity, Lands' End. But what we're most proud of is that we have started 17 small businesses between us. Now, as Zenagos, we provide our blue chip experience to small businesses at a very affordable cost because we want others to have the help that we wished we'd had back then. So that's who we are. First, some procedural items. First, please feel free to engage in the chat. My colleagues are there and may be able to answer some questions quickly for you. We have some time left at the end to answer some questions from the chat. So if you have a question, put it in there. We'll get to as many of them as we can. And if you have questions that we don't get to answer, please connect with one of us on LinkedIn and say that you are at the SCORE AI webinar. We're going to post our LinkedIn links in the chat in just a second, so you can go ahead and grab those. By the end of the session, you should have a clear sense of what generative AI tools can do to help you with your sales and marketing efforts right now. They can do a lot, but they aren't a silver bullet, so you'll need to do some editing and polishing. You'll also learn what a prompt is and why it's so important to be able to write a good prompt when you're asking an AI tool to generate content for you. And finally, you'll get a sense of the generative AI tools that exist today. And that list grows daily. As you'll see, we added some new things to the webinar just a day ago. We're not going to give out the slides from this presentation, but we did make a super cool PDF that provides links to the AI tools that we're going to demonstrate in the webinar and sample prompts for each one. So to get it, use your phone to grab this QR code and we'll email it to you. Or Mavis is going to put a link in the chat that's the same link as a QR code in case that's easier for you to use. While everyone's doing that, now is a great time to go into the chat and just tell us a little bit about you. We would love to know what you sell and what you're hoping to learn from us about AI today. All right, I'm going to move on right now, but we'll put the QR code back up again at the end of the session if you didn't get a chance to get to it. AI is a truly broad topic, and we can really only scratch the surface today. So I hope you're here to learn about how you can leverage some of today's tools in sales and marketing activities. We're going to share some specific examples that you can try right away. And we've left a little time at the end, to talk about other things that you may have questions about. Now, when most people think about AI, they picture a scary robot from the future. Certainly, if that thing showed up at my front door, I'd be pretty concerned. But AI is not always terrifying. For example, we asked Canva's free text-to-image generator for German Shepherd puppy, and we got this. Oh, much cuter, right? So AI is still very much a work in progress. For example, it can produce bizarre outcomes, particularly when you ask it to generate an image. To show you what can happen, we used the same program and we asked for dog in a park watching a squirrel, and we got this. Now, there are all kinds of issues here. It's squirrel shaped and it has some squirrel colors, but it has a dog's head and it's wearing a collar. It only has one front paw, and don't even ask me what's going on with the tail coming up out of the ground. Is that thing off to the right a backpack? So as you can see, you can use AI right now, but it may not produce exactly what you want, at least not the first time. And you need to experiment with the tools to figure out how to make them work for you. So we'll hope that we can get you started on that today. To put today's examples in context, there are lots of different ways that AI is used today. AI is used to run dynamic pricing. Airlines use it to maximize the revenue for each seat by finding patterns of demand and price sensitivity. You're familiar with recommendation filtering from sites like Amazon, Netflix, Spotify, Home Depot. It's usually presented as people who bought this also like that, and then a series of choices. AI robots help with tasks in a number of different industries. You may see one going up and down your grocery store aisle. Robots are a terrific choice for tasks that are too dangerous for humans, from defusing explosives to entering contaminated areas. But because of their cost, these first three forms of AI are really still only available to large companies. The last form, however, generative AI, is being made available right now to anyone. Generative AI describes algorithms that digest existing content, identify patterns and structures in that content, and then use those patterns to create or generate new content. It can be used to generate new text, new audio, images, videos, code for computers, and so on. For the purposes of the rest of this presentation, when we say AI, we're going to mean generative AI. Also, we'll focus on tools that are free or freemium, which means that you can at least try them a few times before you have to pay anything. So we're trying to give you tools that you can use without having to incur a cost. Take a minute, if you would, to enter into the chat what kinds of AI tools you have tried so far. And also, if new AI functionality has recently popped up in any software that you use regularly, what is the name of that software? And did you find it to be a useful AI or not? We're just going to be very interested in that. So think about that for a second. If you could drop a few notes in the chat about that, that would be great. While you're entering that, here are some examples of types of AI tools that are currently available. You can feel free to screenshot this if you want, but it will change very quickly. At last count, one website cites over 7,000 AI tools that are currently available. Some of these tools, such as ChatGPT, have both a free and a paid version. But you can see that there are all kinds of things coming out all the time and lots of options for things that you can try. To help you become familiar with what you can do with some of the tools that are a little bit more ready for prime time, we selected a few of our PDF takeaway tools and included some AI challenges, complete with links and prompts, so that you can try them yourself. So when you get the takeaway, it'll say what the tool is, what the prompt is, and you can give it a try. All of our challenges are on tools that you can try for your freemium. We recommend that you try as many as you can. They each have advantages and disadvantages, and only you know exactly what you need. Comparing them, ChatGPT is great for generating text. The main drawback of the free version of ChatGPT is that its data stops in 2021. So if you're asking a question where it matters whether the information is current, then ChatGPT may not be the best choice. There is a paid version of ChatGPT called ChatGPT Plus that does use current data if you're interested in that. But since we're focusing on things that are free, our main choice for anything that needs current data today is going to be Google's Bard AI tool, which uses real-time data. And links to all of these things are in that takeaway. Links to Bard, links to ChatGPT, where you can go and sign up for them. Copy AI is a tool that's particularly good at scanning LinkedIn profiles. So when we demonstrate that use case, we're going to use copy.ai. And we're not going to do any more image creation examples today, since, as you've seen, it's fairly unpredictable. But if you want to try an image generating tool, we provide links to Bing Image Creator, Canva Text to Image Creator, and Adobe Firefly in that takeaway. So that just kind of gives you a sense of what's out there. So let's get to take a look at this. What does AI look like? When you click on the link for ChatGPT in this takeaway PDF, you'll have to create an account. So you go in, log in, and then it'll look like this. So there's a box, just like a search engine, and that's where you enter the prompt. So you tell the AI what you want it to do. There's also a list of previous chat sessions up on the left side, so you can go back and look at one later. We'll come back to that in a sec. When you're dealing with an AI, the prompt is key. What you get depends on what you ask for. So here are some tips on crafting an effective prompt. These tips are also in the takeaway. So first, identify a clear goal. Clear questions lead to clear answers. It's also good to specify the format that you want for the response. So for example, if you want a survey, make sure you ask for a survey. If you want an email, ask for an email. Include how long you want the response to be. Otherwise, it could just go on forever. It could be really, really long. The AI can pretend to be a persona for which it has data. So for example, you could tell it to write as if it were professional or a close friend or Shakespeare. And if you have data that you want the AI to use, you need to include that in your prompt. So you just paste it right into that window. So for example, you could paste in your last 3 blog posts and then type, these are 3 blog posts I've already written. Please write the next blog post in the same style on a new topic. And you could even tell it what topic you wanted it to write on, or you could ask it what topic it should write on. One thing to keep in mind is that AI tools are different. So 2 tools could give you completely different results in response to the same prompt. So it's kind of fun to try out a few and compare the results. So let's do a really simple example to get a sense for how you can improve a prompt. So this isn't a live demo. I took screenshots of my session with ChatGPT so that you can see everything clearly. I started by typing this prompt into ChatGPT. Can you tell me a joke? And it came back with, why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. Now, I had to think about that one for a while, so I decided it probably wasn't all that funny. So I decided to improve my prompt by making it more specific. So I typed, can you tell me a funny joke about dogs? I guess it's probably not a secret right now anymore that I really like dogs. So this response was a little bit better. Why do the dogs sit in the shade? Because he didn't want to be a hot dog. Still, I thought I could make a better prompt. So I decided to make the goal clearer and more specific by naming the audience for the joke. So I typed, can you tell me a hilarious joke about dogs that I can tell to an audience of veterinarians at a conference? And it came up with, why don't dogs make good dance partners? Because they have 2 left feet and they're always chasing their tails. That's a little bit better. So I can tell that ChatGPT has been trained with some fairly corny jokes, but this one is better than I can do, and it's definitely better than where I started, and I got there faster than I would have on my own. So obviously there's some great joke sites still on the web. So this example isn't maybe the best use of an AI tool, but I hope that it gives a clear sense of how to improve a prompt. So make it more specific, name the audience. These are ways to improve a prompt. And that brings up another important point. Unlike a regular search engine, the AI tools often have the ability to refine the search within the session. So if you remember from the original ChatGPT screen, it saved each session on the left side. So I can go back to a previous session, and then I can ask a follow-up question or ask for a different voice from the same question, and it will remember that in creating a follow-up response. So that's different from a search engine. You don't have to kind of make it up all over again every time. It will remember what you did previously in the session. So what do I mean by a different voice? One of the cool things you can do with an AI prompt is ask the AI to assume a certain tone or voice. So we'll call these write as prompts. So for example, you can ask GPT to write as a celebrated comedian or a specific job title like CEO or consultant, or as a particular famous writer. This is a great way to customize your marketing to a specific audience or to experiment with different voices as you draft. For example, let's say I wanted to announce a new line of sunglasses and I wanted to do it with a certain comedic style. I could put this prompt into ChatGPT. Create a product announcement for sunglasses with interchangeable lenses, writing in the style of comedian Kevin Hart, using a maximum of 250 words. You can see I got very specific. It comes up with a pretty funny response, and it actually kind of does feel like Kevin Hart. Be the talk of the town, be you, but cooler. Now let's say that I wanted to do the same product announcement, except written in the style of a McKinsey consultant. So I'm in the same chat session, so I can type, create the same product announcement, but this time writing in the style of a McKinsey consultant. This one comes out much more serious. We believe this product represents a new paradigm in eyewear. And just for fun, I created the same announcement in the style of famous American writer Edgar Allan Poe. A marvel, dear reader, that transcends the mundane. Spooky. So your prompts can tell the AI tool what character or voice to assume. You can also give the AI your own data to use. So I already mentioned that I could paste in 3 of my previous blog posts and then ask the AI to write a new one in the same style. In this example, I already have a customer persona that I use called Bobby the Boss. So I can paste my persona into the AI and ask the AI to make a message that would appeal to this persona, who is a director of marketing at a medium-sized company. So my very specific prompt was, please create an email using a maximum of 250 words, announcing sunglasses with interchangeable lenses that would appeal to this customer persona. And then I pasted in the words from my Bobby the Boss persona. So you can see on the right that ChatGPT drafted an email designed to appeal to a director of marketing. So it talks about brand image and ROI and discerning taste. It's actually a pretty good draft. Now, I would still edit it myself and then test it out on a friend or two who works in marketing before I would use it as a marketing email. But it sure would speed up the process. So one note of caution about pasting in your own data into an AI, unless you're using a paid AI tool that promises in its terms of use that your data will be protected, you shouldn't paste anything into an AI that you wouldn't want to see appearing out on the internet or on someone else's website. In this case, I don't consider my customer persona to be especially confidential, so it feels fine to me. Now that we've done some thinking about prompts and how they work, let's look at some specific examples for small business sales and marketing. Small businesses face many challenges today. It would be great if you would take a second to just enter into the chat window some of the challenges that you are facing, particularly around sales and marketing. What is it that really challenges you? And while you're doing that, I'll say that one of the things that we at Zenagos like about the new generative AI tools is that they can help level the playing field by providing advanced tools to small businesses that can reduce the time that you spend on sales and marketing. So the small business owners that we work with at Zenagos use AI to speed up their marketing content development in particular. Let's go through some really specific examples. So we're going to demonstrate ways to use AI in 3 marketing areas: competitor analysis, market research, and content creation. So we're going to come up with 3 demos that show examples of things that you can do in those areas. We work with a lot of small business CEOs, and we see that they never do enough analysis of what their competitors are doing. They don't have enough time, but they might get important ideas by checking out the competition every few months. So here's a way to do a quick competitor product analysis. To use a familiar example, let's say that I work at WebEx and I want to know who are our top 3 competitors and how their pricing models compare with ours. As of before, this isn't a live demo. I took screenshots of my sessions with each AI, but I'll walk you through each prompt in response. So I chose Google's Bard as my AI platform for this demo because the free version of ChatGPT only goes up to October 2021. And I want to know what my competitors are doing right now. So Bard's data is real time. So I signed up for Bard and I logged in. For my prompt, I typed list WebEx's top 3 competitors. And this was the response. It gave me Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Workspace, and it also mentioned GoToMeeting. So that was fast. So next, I wanted to compare the pricing models of these 3 competitors. I guess I made it 4. I typed compare the pricing models of WebEx, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google Workspace. And it gave me a quick answer. So I got a pretty detailed comparison in just a few seconds. I'll give you a minute to take a look at that. I wanted to take my analysis a step further, so I typed, give me a social media analysis of Zoom. And it gave me an answer in seconds. So this is multiple pages. So as you can see, it provided statistics for Zoom's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn activity. If you're willing to pay for services, tools like BrandWatch and Hootsuite currently offer AI-powered social media metrics. You can even have an AI tool create an SEO analysis on your competitors' websites so your business can perform better in organic searches. I could use this information to get ideas for pricing models and product features. One important caution, given that AI tools sometimes reproduce inaccurate information, it would be smart for me to go to these websites myself and confirm this competitor information before I used it for anything other than my own, curiosity. Bard actually introduced a super cool verification feature just a few days ago. To use a verification feature, you use Bard as usual. For example, I've inserted the prompt, what is the history of the Australian Shepherd? Yes, I do have an Australian Shepherd. And I got a result that was about 2 screens long, all about Australian Shepherds. I scrolled down to the bottom, and now a button appears at the bottom that says, double check Bard's response. This is the new verification feature. So you just click on that G icon. So I clicked on that, and it took a few seconds, and then said check completed. The items in green have a verified source on the web. So if you click on one of the green highlights, a box pops up that shows where you can find similar information on the web. So you can go and see what site says that piece of information that's highlighted in green. Then if you click on one of those kind of orange brownish highlights, a pop-up box will show you where you can find conflicting information on the web. So this feature doesn't judge whether the information itself is true, but it allows you to consider the source and decide for yourself. So that's a cool feature that just popped up in Bard. AI is literally changing every day. We'll be keeping up with these changes at Zenagos. So if that's something that interests you and you want to follow along, go to our homepage at Zenagos, scroll to the bottom and sign up for our newsletter. It comes out twice a month. And we include anything that we've learned about AI for small businesses, so you can keep up with us. AI can also accelerate your market research. So let's say that I still work at WebEx, and now I want to do a market research survey. First, I need to make a questionnaire for the survey. I decided to use the free version of ChatGPT this time since it didn't really matter if the data was current. And I typed, create a 5-question customer survey to help us figure out what is the most important feature of WebEx. In seconds, the AI produced a sample questionnaire. It included a setup question about how the customer uses online meeting tools. It included a question about which features are the most valuable. It even included a thank you message. In this case, I only asked for 5 questions to keep this demo short, but I could have asked for more. Not to be a broken record, but I would never use something produced by ChatGPT as is. I would just use it to get ideas and get off to a fast start. And then I would edit the questions to suit my exact purpose. But you can see how much time it can save. Next, I wanted to make an introductory email with the survey instructions so I could send out the survey that I just created to my email list. So I typed, write an email that introduces the customer survey and provides instructions for how and why to take the survey. And I got a very nice draft of an introductory email. Give you a second to look at that. So I can fine tune the request by customer segment. So for example, I could ask ChatGPT to customize the email to target a technical audience. And then I could send that out to the people in my mailing list that I knew were technical. And then I could go back into that same session and ask it to customize it again, but to target a young audience, send that to, the young audience within my email list. So if you find writing challenging, then an AI can save you a ton of time. I will tell you one funny cautionary tale about a small business person who used ChatGPT results without editing them. One of the CEOs that we work with sells data analytics to marketing agencies. So he creates a SaaS software product that, provides analytics. And he received an offer from another firm to create a partnership. So he asked the potential partner to send him a term sheet that he could consider. And when he got the term sheet, it looked a little funny to him. So he pasted into ChatGPT and he typed, "Did you write this?" And ChatGPT said, "Yes." So I'm not sure whether he would go through with the partnership, but it definitely made him think that the potential partner hadn't put a lot of thought into the term sheet. So, that's one example where if you're using ChatGPT to accelerate your process, just make sure that you do, customize it and tailor it, that you don't just take the results and send them to somebody, because many people will be able to tell that it's created by ChatGPT. So another market research task that you can do with AI is a customer feedback analysis. That is, how do people generally feel about a given product? For this to work, you either have to paste in your own customer feedback for the AI to analyze, or you have to ask about a product for which there's a fair amount of public information already available on the internet. So for purposes of this example, I decided to do one for Zoom, since I know there's a lot of public information about Zoom already on the internet. Since I was interested in the most current feedback possible, I decided to use Bard. And I typed, "Please provide a customer feedback analysis for Zoom." Because I chose customer feedback analysis, which is a particular market research methodology, the AI can look that up and figure out what it is, and then include things that are typical in that kind of an analysis. So things that are typical in a customer feedback analysis are ease of use, features, customer support, and pricing. It also provided specific examples of common customer feedback, such as wait times for customer support are too long. So it gives you a lot of information in a really short period of time. And it also suggested some things that Zoom could do to collect more customer feedback. Having done that analysis, I could take that information about how Zoom could improve, and I, as a person at WebEx, could make sure that we go ahead and improve all of those things. So that's a useful application. Last but not least, AI can accelerate your content creation. Using AI, you can generate ideas, refine your writing, produce content more quickly and at a lower cost, and really easily personalize your content. We showed a couple examples of that using that Write As feature. Personalization has been shown to build stronger connections with your audience. It can enhance your customer satisfaction. It increases the likelihood of conversions and repeat business. So let's take a look at a couple of personalization applications. You can use AI to generate a draft of pretty much anything, including blog posts, newsletters, case studies, white papers, email campaigns, quizzes, and even entire websites. Many of the AI tools come with pre-existing templates that can help you design if design isn't your thing. So as an example, I used HubSpot's new website generator. It's free for now while it's in beta testing. And I created a website for a fictitious sunglasses business. So HubSpot's generator walks you through some decision-making, kind of like a wizard. What's the style and purpose? It asks for some content. So for this example, I had to describe my business. So I entered, I sell affordable sunglasses with interchangeable lenses for people with low bridge noses. It selected all of the images that are shown here. It created all of the sections and content, and it even created a testimonial section, an about section, and a contact form. Wow. Now, as always, you need to check and edit the content. For example, the testimonials are completely made up. You can use AI also for sales support. For example, if you have a lot of sales data, you can load it into an AI to get sales productions for future demand for each of your products. Same caution on loading your data into an AI. But boy, it can sure produce the information quickly. There are also a number of freemium AI tools that create pitch decks, such as Gamma, Beautiful.ai, SendSteps, Slides AI, Designs.ai. These are all listed in our takeaway. Some of these will make a market analysis or value prop slide, and they'll generate graphs based on your data. So if what you need to do is make a pitch deck, they can really accelerate your process. So as you can see, you can do a lot with AI. Here's some marketing use cases to stimulate your thinking. You can use AI to create first drafts, generate new images, make a one-sheet brochure, create a landing page, write a product description. If you want to make images, Bing's Image Maker and Adobe's Firefly are the best choices right now. We've got them listed on the sheet. There's an app called Midjourney that a lot of people like. Unless you're trying to create a squirrel-colored dog monster, in which case you could try pretty much anything. For example, here's how we set up a newsletter using ChatGPT. So I put in my prompt. I did this in multiple steps. So the first step is create a persona. So who do I want this newsletter to reach? So create a persona for a solopreneur who is 30 to 40 years old. Decide kind of what you want in there. I said include pain points and business challenges. All right. So it gave me Emily Thompson. So she's a persona. She's an imaginary character who personifies the kind of person who would be my ideal client. You can see that I got her goals, her pain points, gave me her business challenges, and even a summary paragraph. Okay, so now that I have a persona, on step 2, I'm going to ask for newsletter topics that would appeal to the Emily persona. Now, we've done this with tremendous success at Xenagos, asked for, what would people in a particular audience be interested in? So the prompt I used here was provide me with a table of the top 3 newsletter topics that Emily would find compelling. Also include a summary of each topic. So remembering back to our promptology, provide me with a table. So I told it, what kind of an output do I want of the top 3 newsletter topics? So I told it how many topics I want. I want 3. And then that Emily would find compelling. So I gave it an audience. And then I told a little bit more, include a summary for each topic. So that's using promptology and making sure that you get as much specific information into your prompt so that you get the result that you want. And so it gave me 3 pretty great topics. This is 1 and 2, and then here's 3. And personally, I like topic number 3, financial management and scaling for solopreneurs. I'm kind of a finance wonk, and so that topic would get me pretty excited. So now I'm ready for a newsletter on the selected topic. So my prompt here is, again, very specific. Create a long form newsletter consisting of a subject line, intro, body paragraph, bullet point list, and conclusion for topic number 3 in a professional but friendly tone. Include a call to action of booking a call. Now, just a reminder, ChatGPT remembers the whole chat conversation. So when I mention topic number 3, it can retrieve that information and use it. I don't have to retype the topic. At this moment, you may be feeling a little bit like you're in Star Trek talking to the computer. It's not far away. My mother likes to talk about how she used to read Dick Tracy comic books, and the guy had a watch that he could talk to, and she actually has one now. And voila, I have a great first draft for a newsletter. Once again, you always need to review and edit AI content. So for example, AIs tend to use the same first sentence, such as, I hope this newsletter finds you in great spirits. For some reason, that one comes up a lot. Most company emails don't start that way. So unless that's your particular style, you'll probably want to change that. You can see that my draft newsletter includes a bullet list of subtopics, and it creates a suggested call to action. Schedule your call here. Always a good reminder. They always need to have a call to action. If you use an AI that accesses the web in real time, like Bard or the paid version of ChatGPT using the Web Pilot plugin, then you can ask for current topics that are based on recent news. So you could say, based on yesterday's news, what should my topic be? So you'd want to use Bard to get the real time if you're using a free tool. But it's a cool application. All right, so AI also has sales use cases that can help you with your sales process. Writing personalized and effective cold emails can be very time consuming. You can use an AI to write cold emails, to create a drip campaign email sequence, to analyze industry trends, to perform a competitive analysis, to do prospect research. For our sales examples, we used an AI called copy.ai. So let's say that I've just returned from a conference where I met Mavis Chin, a potential customer who gave me her LinkedIn contact information. Now I want to send Mavis a follow-up email offering her some financial planning services. So unlike ChatGPT or Bard, copy.ai can consistently access public LinkedIn profiles. So it's a good choice for any LinkedIn exercise. So I entered the prompt, write a short cold email to, and then I paste in the link to Mavis's LinkedIn profile, who I met at a conference last week, and offer her financial services. Make it persuasive enough for her to set up an appointment. And I got a solid first draft that I can edit before sending. The second paragraph's a little weird. Since I didn't specify what company I work for, it made some things up. So it says that my company has over 30 years of professional service experience, when that actually came from Mavis's LinkedIn profile. So I guess they call that mirroring, if she has services experience, it made sure that I did too. But do be sure to edit. These AIs will improve over time. You may recall the first time that you used MapQuest, if you're in my age group, and the times were off by a number of hours and it would take you down dead ends. And now the map functions work really well. So imagine what these AIs will be like in the future. For fun, I asked Copy AI to change the cold email into a call script. As you can see, it transformed the email into a conversation format. And of course, you don't know exactly what Mavis will say when you call her. So the script is best used to give you an idea of how the conversation might go to help you prepare. It's also a great reminder to set up the next appointment before the end of the call. Call to action, always need that. Follow up. Okay, so let's wrap up with some key tips for using generative AI tools today. Start small. So choose 1 or 2 tasks to start experimenting with AI. You don't need to eat the entire elephant in one bite. Pick a small goal, see if you can achieve it. Be clear about your goals. Once you know your goals, you can choose the right AI tool for the job. And we've given you several suggestions, but feel free to go out and investigate. And if you find one, link with me and tell me on LinkedIn so that we can add it to our list. Your prompts matter, so be clear and specific. If you want a great answer, ask a clear and specific question. And if you don't get the answer you want, modify your prompt and improve it. You'll get really good at prompt writing. Stacy is the prompt pro. So if you ever have a, serious prompt issue, she's your gal. Always fact check. So ChatGPT can famously get even simple math equations wrong, and it will make up false facts. So never trust them. Make sure that you check your facts. If you're worried about intellectual property liability, talk to an attorney before you use an AI. So for example, if you do marketing for other small businesses and your contract certifies that all of your work will be original, well, then it's not smart to use an AI that's ingested a bunch of other people's content. So, make sure you look into that kind of thing. A discussion of whether to use generative AI and whether it constitutes plagiarism is very much an open question. So, for example, the journal Science considers using an AI in the creation of an article to be plagiarism, whereas the journal Nature has allowed it as long as it's documented in a particular way. So, we'll have lots of discussions in the future about intellectual property and AI. AI is no substitute for the human touch. So if you use it as is, others will often be able to tell that it was AI produced, and people are creating machines to tell what has been AI produced. So add your own special touches. AI can't eliminate all of your writing time. So, I think traditionally 10% of writing time is planning and 70% is generating the content and 20% is editing and validating. So AI can cut down the 70%, that generating content time, but you're still going to need to plan, or in this case, you have to plan your prompts, and you still need to edit and validate. And as always, check the privacy agreements for whatever tool you're using. So if your data is confidential, just to be safe, don't drop anything into an AI that you don't want published widely. So that's it for our presentation. If you would do us a favor, please answer in the chat, what did you hear today that was useful or interesting? And that will help us to keep improving our presentation and adding value. We also have a few minutes to answer some questions that came up in the chat. Stacy is our AI guru, so she'll be taking the questions, or maybe Mavis will take a few. So Mavis, Stacy, have you got some questions from the chat? I'll leave this QR code up for just a minute, and then I'll make it so that you can see, Mavis and Stacy clearly.
Yep. So I'm looking at some of the questions. There was a question that came up about doing text to video or video animation. And there are a number of them out there right now. Some of the top rated ones are InVideo, Pictory, and Synthesia. We've actually played with Synthesia, and it's pretty great if you put in a topic. And I think someone else said something about onboarding new employees. If you have a bunch of policies and you can say to Synthesia, create onboarding policy for my employees for HR, it will create a script and then it will animate the script for you. So I know people were interested in that. I haven't actually tried Pictory yet. But like Karen said, the best thing to do is to take a look at all of these tools and pick which one works best for you. And that's not only feature-based, but it's also user-based, which one you find most intuitive to use. So I have another question here about what does it mean when an AI tool has different biases? People have questions. There's a lot of, Karen was talking about some of the security issues, and there's a lot of content issues people have questions about. And that is based on the input and the training of the information. So that's another reason why you always need to read what AI has created for you and make sure that it says what you'd like it to say, as opposed to just taking it as is. So someone also asked about AI, using AI to make a simple PowerPoint presentation about a subject. And we did talk about a couple of them, and such as beautiful.ai, slides.ai. Those are absolutely fabulous. You can go in, it asks you for some setup information, such as what you're looking for, what the subject is. You put in your data and it will create the presentation for you. So that's actually a really great thing to use. There's a question that's coming up about whether ChatGPT 4.0 is worth it. That is really dependent on what you're trying to do. So if you go in, and again, we recommend playing and trying out all the different tools. And one of the things that you can do is BARD, which is real-time information. You could put something in there, and if you put the same question into like a ChatGPT, which is running on a 3.5 model, you'll see that the answers are very different. BARD is not quite as in-depth as ChatGPT. So ChatGPT Plus, which is running off of the 4.0 model and also allows you to do plugins, will give you a much more thorough answer than BARD. So if you're looking for real-time, incorporating real-time information, and you're looking for something more thorough, I would actually recommend trying ChatGPT Plus. Just, take it out for 1 month. I believe the current subscription price is $20. It might be worth it to see whether or not what you're looking to use it for is actually a benefit to you. We've got a number of questions about using AI tools to conduct SEO analysis of websites. And in the presentation, Karen also showed an analysis of a competitor's website. So what you can do is you can analyze your own website, or you can analyze a competitor's website if you're looking to see what your competitor is doing and you'd like to see how you can improve your own website. Run both of them and see what comes out. And the way you would do that is you'd want to be using, again, real-time data, unless your website hasn't changed since 2021, in which case you can use straight up ChatGPT. But if it has changed, then you'll want to use BARD to do an analysis, or again, take out that 1 month subscription to ChatGPT 4.0 or ChatGPT Plus. And we've done it on a number of our own client sites, on our own sites, and it gives you fabulous information. And something that we also do, which we did not mention because there's so much information to cover in these presentations, is that if you have a favorite marketing author who's written a book, or salesperson who's written a book and it's been out there for a while, you can actually ask ChatGPT or BARD to do an analysis on your website or a competitor's website using the principles from a particular book that you like. Or you can ask, say, make some recommendations on what I can do based on a book. There's a book we sometimes use, which is I think it's called They Ask, We Answer. Karen, is that the correct title?
That's right. That's correct.
Yeah, so it will do an analysis based on the principles from that book, which will give you hints on what direction to take your website design or You know, there are a number of books out on marketing campaigns. You can, you know, sales funnels, marketing funnels. You can also ask it to do it on those books. What else do we, oh, someone asked if HubSpot AI's generators better than MailChimp. That's a fabulous question. So a lot of these AI generators, HubSpot, MailChimp, all of those are based on like a ChatGPT 3.5 or a 3.0, and then they build features on top of that. So it's really hard to say which one is better than another one. It depends on what sort of information you're looking for. Again, I would test them both and see which one speaks more to you or in your type of words. Okay, where are we on time? We have a couple more minutes. Okay, so someone asked if any of the sites run more liberal or conservative in terms of content generation. So by sites, I'm going to assume that you're talking about Bard or ChatGPT or Claude 2, which we've mentioned. And it's really hard to answer that question because the way that all of these tools answer questions is actually based on what information was initially put into the system. So these systems get millions and millions of pieces of information and they put them all into this, I'll just call it a black box. And when you ask the question of the black box, it looks at everything it knows and it comes up with an answer. So it's hard to, you know, there's no, as far as I know right now, no one has skewed anything towards liberal or conservative. What Bard app when you search? So the Bard, there's only, I'm not sure how many, what you mean by multiple Bard apps. And in the PDF document that if you guys request it from the download, we actually have a link in there to the official Bard app. So if you download that, you can just click on the link in there and it will take you to the app that
and Stacey, I put that link in the Q&A also so that they can just go directly from there.
Right. And Karen also has the QR code up on the screen right now too. So there was a question about Karen mentioned in utilize, I'm assuming this is a typo because I didn't think Karen was dangerous, but it's danger Karen.
You have no idea, my friend.
Danger Karen, we'll have to have a discussion later about this, Karen. Danger Karen mentioned in utilizing ChatGPT content for blog creation. You can absolutely, using ChatGPT to help you plan out your blogs is a fabulous idea. If you have a product or you have your website, you can actually say, you know, based on my website content, provide me with some suggested blog provide me with a list of blog suggestions. And ChatGPT Plus and Bard will give you a list of suggestions for blogs that are related to your content. And then what you can do is you can ask the AI generator to help you write that blog.
But with regard to danger, so the danger of pasting your own content into something, if you've already publicly posted your blog post, then pasting your own blog post in isn't really a problem because it's already out there in the public as your blog post. So so I'm not worried about sharing my content with the AI with something that I've already posted publicly. So that, you know, that isn't an issue really. If you have some kind of a contract that says that all of the content that you generate is original, then using an AI could be a problem for that kind of a contract. Let's say you're a freelance writer and you used an AI to write a blog post and then sold it to, you know, some other party. And if they have a contract with you that says that everything you create will be original, then you need to have a conversation with them about what their policy is around AI, because, you know, that's a really rapidly changing field. So as I said with the magazine, some people consider AI to be plagiarism and others consider it to be just fine as long as it's documented. So I don't know there's a particular danger there. It's just that, you know, the impression that it creates if somebody asks the AI, was this written by you, ChatGPT, and ChatGPT says yes, then, you know, is that okay with you? For some brands, it would be fine. And for other brands, it would be a problem.
Right, absolutely. And there was a question about the future, you know, where the future of content generative AI is going. And right now, there are a lot of lawsuits going on. There's a lot of work in government. There's work in obviously in the legal arena as Karen was saying, what is plagiarism? What is not plagiarism? There are questions about where some of these learning models have actually sourced their data and whether they had the legal right to do that. There are questions about when something is generated from out of that, who owns that. And there's a big movement right now, and I think most of us are small business owners, but in the larger companies, OpenAI has come out with a product that companies can use to keep their information in-house and not get out into the public arena. And that I think is going to help a little with this content generating AI future. But again, this is a revolution basically in technology. I like to equate it to the Industrial Revolution. And we can't predict what's going to happen. And right now, there's just a lot of activity around what is going on as people figure out what all the implications are. So it's not, if the question is it going anywhere? The answer is no. It's here to stay, at least in my opinion. Is the question, will it be replacing the workforce? The answer is no, it won't be replacing the workforce, because just on a very basic level, people have to ask the AI questions. So if nobody's asking the questions, then it's not going to be generating anything. Where it might be going is people in the workforce who know how to use AI will have an easier time than people who don't know how to use AI, which again, part of our goal of this webinar is to just let everybody know this is here to stay, and it is in your best interest to try everything out and to see how it can benefit you. I noticed our time is over. In fact, we just went 1 minute. So I know there are a lot more questions we didn't get to, and I probably digressed. Teresa's back, but again, we have please contact us, zenagos.com. We also put in our LinkedIn information and the QR codes. We're happy to answer additional questions offline.
Well, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today, and thank the ladies from Zenagos for, it was a great presentation, just full of tons of information that I know everyone's walking away with a little bit of something. So definitely check out our website and look for their next presentation coming up. It's worth it. We've seen it before. It's a great presentation. So I encourage you to check that one out. And everyone have a great day.
Thanks, Teresa.
Bye.